Well, hello everybody. Danny back from Deepsouth Homestead. We're in the condo today for porch time again. I found that this is where I like to really come because it's so relaxing. It is cold now, don't get me wrong, it's cold. But with just this one little window in front of me here open so I can, if I had to get a gun out of it or something, I could. We've been having some predators, coyotes. For the first time in like 20-something years, I killed most all of them out like 20 years ago, and hadn't had any more. The other night over here at Pecan Grove, which I haven't killed any over here, and I'm talking about the Deepsouth Homestead. I've killed all the coyotes out. I haven't done that over here at Pecan Grove, and we heard some the other night over here, and I told Wanda, I said, I'm gonna have to go spend some time in the condo down there and see if I might can take some of them coyotes out if they come out in these food plots. I got my trusty weapon here with me. So we're gonna do a little porch time while I'm looking for coyotes. I actually saw something I'm not 100% sure in the dark the other night on my way. I was getting ready to leave to go home, and I saw this huge cat. This thing must have been 3 feet long. I mean, he was a big old cat. And, well, I guess it was a cat. I couldn't tell. It was so far out ahead of me in my headlights. Couldn't really tell what it was, but it was really big around. But it was like 3 feet long. And I just say a cat because of the way it was, the way it was walking. And then it took off running, and I didn't get a chance to really see it. But, guys, the whole country right now is froze. It's cold. It's cold down here where I live at. It ain't supposed to be cold down here. You know what I mean? They talking about, well, tonight, snow, drizzle, sleet, all that kind of stuff. Well, last night was a little bit of sleet. Now, sleet we're used to, and we get snow maybe once every 5 years, maybe we get a little snow or something. But I was looking, they were talking like 49 of the 50 states of the United States is under some kind of weather advisory. They were talking about that the modern weathermen have never seen this happen before. Now, it has happened, just thought I saw something. It has happened before in times past, but not in most of the new weathermen's lifestyles. The older weathermen, yeah, they've seen it before, but because when I was a kid, it was a whole lot colder when I was a kid than it is now. This stuff we're facing now reminds me of when I was a child growing up. I mean, we had 18 inches of snow here in the Deep South, and we lived in an old house that, it was this old shotgun house. Had newspapers on the walls on the inside to keep the cold air from coming through. No insulation in the walls or nothing. Had old, I call it roll roofing, tar paper looking stuff on the outside that had like a brick design on it. That was on the outside of the old house. And back then we didn't think nothing about it. I mean, we had no running water, nothing like that. Cold was just cold. I mean, we that's all we knew was cold in the wintertime. It was cold. And as a result, I mean, we had a wood heater in one room. Mama would hang quilts over the doors, close the doors and hang a quilt over them. We all slept in one room. Because that wood heater only heat, back then people didn't think about designing homes to where, a wood heater would heat the whole house. I mean, it just heated the great room. They call it the great room. It just heated that. And, I got the croup and ended up having to be hospitalized and put under a big old tent. Had to live under that thing for, I don't even remember how long it was. It seemed like forever when you're a child. Got pneumonia and all that stuff when I was a kid because it was so cold. But we're spoiled today to the luxuries of the world. We're really spoiled. I gotta get straightened up here. I stay hunkered over because I'm trying to stay warm. But we're spoiled. You know, we're just spoiled. Let's just be honest about it. I mean, the things that my grandkids see me doing, you know, they're like, why are you doing that, Papa? You know, what's going on? And I'm like, well, this is what life is going to be like in the future for you. You know, I've already lived it one time, and it looks like I'm going to live it again. And I said, this is just the way the older generation lived. And I said, and the younger generation is going to relive this because of the way the world's going. I said, you better learn. And they're like, oh, Pawpaw. You know, like, you just still living in the past. We got all this technology and all this stuff. And I said, I can give you that. Yeah, you got technology, you got phones and computers. And I said, you know, yeah. I said, but let me tell you something. A phone and a computer ain't going to fill your belly. You know? You better learn how to put your hands in this dirt out here like I'm doing. You better learn how to grow something. You better learn how to kill an animal. You better learn how to butcher it. I'm putting up all these videos showing y'all how to do all this stuff so that hopefully if you ever get in this situation and it's still where you can watch one of them videos, you can say, my papa did this on YouTube. I'm going to go look at it and see what he did. I'm doing this for you guys. You know, not for me. I already know how to do it. It worries me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It worries me about the generation coming on. My grandkids, I don't know, you know. I sit down and question them sometimes, and they only know what they're told, and that's sad. I see kids that go off to college and they come back, parents don't even know who they are anymore. Lost all their family values, lost everything they was raised being taught. And that bothers me, you know, that happens to people. I guess I'm blessed right now. My girls didn't fall off that bandwagon in college, you know. My girls are very successful girls, and they know how to survive. Did I raise them like, you know, and Jen and you and Carrie, if y'all are watching this, you know what I'm talking about. I was hard on them, you know, a lot of ways. A lot of ways I wasn't. But there's times Wanda looks at me and says, that daughter of yours, Jennifer's like a soldier when you start talking. If you tell her to do something, you know, like one time we had a rattlesnake coming up on the porch. I saw it way ahead of time. I grabbed her son up. He was just a little bitty fart. I grabbed him up, threw him over to her. I said, get that kid in the car now. And shut the door. Wanda, get my gun, you know. And my daughter was like a soldier. She didn't ask a question. She grabbed that child up, went in the car, and locked the doors. And sit in that car, you know. And that's one thing Wanda told me. She said, I've never seen a child just act that quick. And I told her, I said, well, I got good kids. I raise them a specific way, and they don't forget it. You don't ever question your father. If I ever told any one of my children to do something, you don't ever question what I ask you to do. You just do it, you know. In the world we live in today, oh man, the kids, I don't know, guys. You know, I don't know what it's going. I'm old now, older. I'm not over the hill yet, but I'm older, and I think about if I make it into my 70s, mid to late 70s, you know, I mean, the generation that'll be running the country, if it's still a country, well, it'll be a country, just whose country, you know, I mean, what will I have to, as an old person, will I be genocide? I mean, you know, what'll happen? Will they get rid of me because I'm not useful anymore? You know? And that brings me to to a thought I have. Everybody today, and I'm trying to be quiet. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm trying to be quiet, so in case a coyote or something comes out here. Everybody today, all I hear about, they're just looking for the next big event, and it's like when something happens, this tragic, and 5 days, it's over now. Well, the consequences are not over. If you got tornadoes and you got blizzards or you got bombs or you got whatever happens, volcanic eruptions, flooding, anything like that, people go, oh, well, that was last week. Oh, well, the repercussions is still going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't just go away. And people's like, yeah, but that's old news. We're looking for the new stuff now. And I'm like, that tells me that the attention span of a lot of people just is very short now. And it's evident because when you do YouTube like I do, you have to look at the algorithms and they tell you, the attention span of a child and the attention span of an adult and stuff like this. And you're supposed to change your camera angles every so many seconds or every so many minutes because people's attention span gets, they get tired of looking at you if you're too still or same place all the time. And guys, I don't know, man. Everybody just like, I go back to 9/11 when it happened, and it's like the whole country tried to unite together there for a couple, 3 months or 4 months. I mean, I was supposed to be there when that happened, and I wasn't, but that was God. That was just a God thing. And you thought that the country was going to pull together, man. It was going to be, we were going to rise up again and be a nation like we was in the past. And then all of a sudden, people's like, well, it's over now. All the 3,000, I don't know, that's some 3,000 plus people they said died, which I don't believe that. I think it was different than that. I don't believe nothing they said on the news because I have information that tells me different. I don't believe a plane hit the Pentagon. I mean, it's just things I've seen too much. Okay, and I sit back and I look at people after a few months. It's like it never happened. And y'all see the sun going under and coming out behind these, I guess they're clouds. I don't know what they are. The camera gets dark and light, so that if you see that, that's what it is. We got some more heavy ice and precip of some kind moving in here pretty shortly. So I thought I'd come down here and maybe ahead of all this, I might get a chance to see one of them coyotes or that weird animal, whatever it was. But the attention span of people is so short now that, and it bothers me, but ain't nothing I can do about it because I know that we've brought it upon ourselves with technology because our minds are, we say we rest a lot, No, I think people now probably rest less than they ever have, even though they're not out physically or actually doing anything. They're just big giant couch potatoes, if you want to use that phrase. They're all sitting here, doing this with a phone or got a laptop or a tablet or a Kindle or whatever you want to call it in front of them, and they just sit there all day. They don't do anything, and their minds never really rest. When you go to bed at night, and I learned this from the eye doctor the other day. I went to the eye doctor, and I think I told y'all I did. I think I told on a live stream that I went, and or the premiere. We didn't do a live stream, and it. I'm gonna get on something here in a minute, but you know, I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I just don't know where we're headed from this. It's like we're it's like we're just in limbo. If you want to use that word, we're just in limbo. You know what I mean? It's like we just exist. We're not really doing anything. We're just sitting, looking at a tablet or a phone or something to that nature. And our bodies are just wasting away. You know, I mean, we go to the store to get our food. That irritates me. I can't help it. Every time I see a grocery store, I just get irritated. And I see how many cars is out in front of a grocery store. I'm like, what happened to raising some of your own food? What happened to raising your own food? You see people coming out with buggies. I'm talking about rounded up. And I'm like, a friend of mine went to Walmart the other day. Come out. He had 7 bags that wasn't even half full. He told me, he said, there's $200 worth in these 7 bags. He told them in 2 hands. And it wasn't even any vegetables and it wasn't even any meat. He said, it's just stuff to help cook a meal with. He said, $200, Danny? I said, brother, let me tell you something. You better start learning how to fix something, grow some of your own food. Well, I'm too old for that now, and I don't have the time. I'm like, you got more time than I got, probably. And you're not too old. Yeah, but the cost of it. Now, I'm like, look, never mind. I said, just go to the grocery store. I said, but I'll tell you this, by the end of 2024, you're going to pay a lot more than $200 for them 7 bags. And then what you get in it ain't fit to eat or use. I said, but go on your merry way, my friend. Go on your merry way. And Wanda and I can be in town, drive by Walmart, and there's hundreds of cars out there. Like, it just floors me. And here I am, I'm in my 60s, and you'll see me every now and then rubbing my neck. I got a disc bulged out on the side of my neck up here. I can't lift up anything hardly anymore. And I'm like, here I am. I'm out still trying to gather firewood because that's how I heat my house is with wood. And I'm like, I'm trying to raise my own animals, trying to butcher my own animals. I mean, we put these videos up. We took another deer here at Pecan Grove, and I probably won't do any video on what we do with that deer because we did the other deer. I mean, but this was a lot bigger deer than the last one was, and I'm gonna let it hang a little bit longer. And the other deer, oh, guys, it is so good. Oh, it's so good. I told Wanda, I said, if I ever moved anywhere again, I will not be without a walk-in cooler. I said that, I'll build it out of something, because, usually air conditioner, a cool bot. I told her, I said, no, I said, letting them animals hang, and then being able to leave our vegetables in there all summer and into the fall, and store stuff in there to keep it cool, not go bad, last 2 or 3 times longer than it normally does. And then you can hang an animal in there, run it down to about 34 degrees. Hang that animal and let him hang for 4 or 5 days and go in there and cut it up. It just tastes so good, guys. And that brings me to a point. So many people on the deer video say, man, ain't you scared of CWD, the chronic wasting disease, or the zombie disease and all this kind of stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm not worried about that. Not really, I'm not. Because the government has scared everybody to death. Now, is it real? Yeah, it's real. And could it affect me? Yeah, I guess it could. They was talking about mad cow disease. What about the mad cow disease? You know, you're raising your own cows. Well, I mean, guys, like I told you last time, when did we start being so scared of everything? The government has scared everybody to death. I'm going to continue to take what I want from the wild, and I'm going to, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. There ain't nothing I can do that's going to change it. If I go from eating a deer that had something that I didn't know it had, it wouldn't have mattered because my time was up. It wouldn't have mattered if I'd have ate that or if I'd have gotten a vehicle, I'd have been in a car wreck somewhere. I mean, it's just, I'd been in the woods, a tree that fell on me or something would have happened. I mean, it just, when it's your time, it's your time. We can't sit back and live in the what if world. That's what they want. They want us to all be afraid. It's like seeing these people coming out of the grocery stores with the buggies rounded up. When you see that, you know the first thing that pops in my mind? SNAP. SNAP. You know what SNAP is. The government's paying for that. They're subsidizing that. 99% of what's in them buggies is junk. Junk. You look in there and there's big old several loaves of light bread. You know, we all know the saying, the whiter the bread, the faster you're dead. I don't eat bread. I don't eat bread, period. The only kind of bread I eat is cornbread. And a corn muffin if Wanda makes me, or an oat bran muffin or something like that. You know, I talked to the scientists. Y'all have heard my videos. I talked to the scientists at the wheat factories. And they told me, man, don't eat that wheat. It ain't for human consumption. Not but what we do to it. And they'll tell you they don't eat bread. Unless you get some organic grain. That's another story for another time. But I mean, I don't know, guys. I try not to live for the next big event. I try not to. I try to focus on my life. I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm going to be getting a hog here, looks like, pretty soon for Pecan Grove, because I always raised them at Deepsouth. And I ain't never had a pig over here. And I said, well, let's raise a pig. I'm out of bacon, and don't throw the Leviticus thing at me because I'm not an Israelite, okay? I don't live under the law. And if you want to, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's what, if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But we're going to get a hog, and we're going to raise it up over here. The one I'm looking at is already around 160 to 180 already. And I'm thinking about just go ahead and feeding it out and maybe processing it myself. Wanda and I have talked about it. We feel like that we could possibly pull that off and do it, make it happen. Because I refuse, and I will not, I've told y'all, I will not buy meat from a store. I won't do it. Because I know what's in it, and I know what's been done to it. And I just won't do it. So, that's like I told Wanda, so we'll be a vegetarian before we, unless we just can't find those squirrels or a deer or something like that. We just won't eat meat, that'll be the way it is. I won't buy it from the store. I just won't do it. And, because it's not fit to eat. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, they do stuff to that meat. I'm not going to, that's another video for another time. There's stuff done to that meat. You'd puke if you knew what they done to it. Because I just happen to be friends with someone who works with the U.S. Department of Agriculture and inspecting meats and working in these big places and all, and the stuff, I don't even want to think about it. But, regardless of that, guys, let's don't be the kind of people that gets hung up on the next big event. Live your life. Quit sitting there with your God help you if you've got a TV, but if you're sitting there with a TV and you're just looking at it and you're going like, man, what's the news? Don't believe any news on the TV. I'm just going to tell you, it's all propaganda. The CIA and the DOD have already made sure that the gatekeepers have put up everything that's got about a quarter of the truth in it, and the rest of it's not the truth. I can't say that. I was something I was going to say. I can't say it, but that's why they have so many. I don't know if I can use this word or not because a psyop. You know, that's why they have so many psyops in the government, in the military, and different things like that. Is because they want to keep the people going down a specific road. So keep that in mind. You know, I don't watch no TV. I don't watch no news. I don't believe in it. I've got my sources that, you know, they're personal. And that's where I get my information from. I don't listen to stuff like everybody else, I guess. But I don't look for the next big event. I already know there's going to be some big events. There's going to be some huge events take place. And I've told y'all 2024 is going to be a roller coaster year. You're going to be hot. You're going to be screaming hot. You're going to be screaming cold, screaming wet, screaming dry. You're going to be facing, squirrels are starting to bark. There's something moving around over there. You're going to be facing all kinds of things that you shouldn't have to. Let's put it that way. And the people that put these programs out there for you to watch on TV or even on YouTube now, especially on TikTok. God, don't ever believe TikTok, okay? You know, there's going to be so much that's going to come out that's just not going to be the truth. Now, there'll be just enough of the truth in it to drag you into it if you let it. But I'm here to tell you, please do not believe what you hear. And I'm going to even tell you, you know, used to the old saying was, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Well, I'm going to tell you, don't believe anything you see either. Okay? Test everything with the Spirit. And Scripture tells us to do that. So, don't run around judging everything you see, because it may not be as it appears to be. And, you know, I guess the one thing me and a friend was talking about the other day was condemning. You know, Christians are the world's worst at condemning one another. We've got to get off of the condemnation thing and get on the restoring path. So, I thought I'd just leave you with that today, guys. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to sit here and see if I can see one of these critters in the cold down here. I'm hoping one of them will come out ahead of this front, and maybe I get a chance to take one of them critters out, because I hate a coyote with a passion, and I'd like to be able to take one of them out. And so I'm going to just leave y'all with that while I sit here and just watch. And I pray you have a blessed day, and I pray that the Lord would be good to you. And I pray through this winter storm system we got coming, you'll be okay. I've been working to get us taken care of, and I'm hoping that I hadn't forgot anything. God bless you, and we love you. Thank you from Deepsouth, Homestead.